Let's dive into a story that sounds like it could be an ancient fable, but really, it's a parable for our times. A story about a challenge that pretty much every school is facing right now. We're calling it The Seventh Son and the Digital Schoolroom.
So right off the bat, we're hit with the mystery. You've got 7 sons, and they each start a school. They all have the same goal, the same passion, but down the line, only one of them is truly successful. So the big question is, why? What was the secret ingredient?
Okay, so let's set the scene. You have this wise father, and he has 7 sons. They're all smart, they're all hardworking, and each one decides to found his own school, hoping to create the absolute best learning environment possible.
Now, you'd think they'd all have similar results, right? I mean, same family, same dream, but nope. As the years went by, a huge gap started to show. 6 of the schools were just struggling, constantly putting out fires. But that 7th school, it was thriving. We're talking happy students, involved parents, and great results. Something was very, very different.
So, let's take a closer look at what was going on in those 6 struggling schools. And as I describe this, just ask yourself, does any of this sound a little familiar?
And you can just feel the frustration here, can't you? The sons are completely swamped. They're telling their father, "Dad, this is impossible." Attendance sheets vanish, homework assignments aren't getting to parents, the exam records are a total mess. It's just one big administrative headache.
The father, being a pretty sharp guy, decides to go see for himself. And what he found wasn't just a few minor issues. The whole vibe was just chaos. You could feel the stress coming off the teachers, the confusion from the parents. The entire operation was crumbling under the weight of its own inefficiency.
This really lays it all out, doesn't it? On one side, you got the manual way. Lost records, bad communication, late fees, and teachers who are completely burned out. And on the other side, well, it's blank. There has to be a better way, right? But what on earth is it?
All right, now for the pivot. This is the fun part. We're heading over to that 7th school, the one that's knocking it out of the park. Let's find out what their secret to success actually was.
So when the father asks his son, "What are you doing differently?" the answer is actually pretty simple. It's not about working harder, it's about working smarter. The secret weapon? It was a piece of tech, an AI-powered school management system, or an Edu ERP.
And boom! There it is, the payoff. Remember that slide with all the problems and the blank space? Well, now we can fill it in. This is the smart way. Those lost paper records, they become secure digital records. Miscommunication? That's replaced with instant, direct communication. And that teacher stress, it transforms into teacher confidence. What a difference! So what is this AI Edu ERP thing exactly? Well, ERP is just a fancy term for a system that acts like the central brain for the whole school. It automates attendance, sends notifications straight to parents' phones, and keeps track of all the exam results automatically. The key takeaway here is that it frees everybody up to focus on what really matters. You know, the actual teaching and learning.
And the results? They were totally obvious. When the father walked through this 7th school, it was like night and day. All the information was organized and easy to find. The teachers seemed confident, like they were truly in control. The parents knew exactly what was going on. And the result of all that? The students were happy. They were thriving.
So, this brings us to the big aha moment of the whole story. This is the lesson the wise father took away from it all, the advice he was about to give his other 6 sons.
And it was a huge realization for him. It suddenly clicked. The problem wasn't that 6 of his sons were bad at their jobs. It wasn't that the teachers were failing. The real villain of the story was the broken, manual, chaotic system they were all stuck trying to work with.
Which brings us to the first moral of the story. And this is a big one for any leader, really. Stop looking for who to blame and start looking for the root of the problem itself.
The second moral is what pulls this fable right into today's world. See, it's not just about having great teachers anymore. For a school to really be great in this day and age, it needs a smart system to back them up.
And the final moral is probably the most practical one. The right tool doesn't get rid of hard work. What it does is it multiplies its impact. It's what turns all that effort and good intention into actual, measurable excellence.
So that's our story, and it really leaves us with just one big question to chew on. Think about your own school, or even your own workplace, the system you're using every day. Is it creating more chaos, or is it creating clarity? Because the answer to that question might just be the thing that changes everything.